Yeah. Here we go. This is the Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness Facebook group page. And this is where I take your question. You write a question in the comments on the Facebook page during the live show, and I channel answers for you. It's really for your benefit for me to do this. It's free. You get to kind of stick your toe in the water and see if you like my work and what the energy of my guides are. I channel the great creatress, which is the divine feminine herself. And I channel the Akashic beings of light. I channel Anubis. Anubis was my original guide. And when I first started channeling in 1988, that's who came through. And I had no idea who Anubis was. You know, somebody said, do you know who Anubis is? And I'm like, oh, no. And then I found out that Anubis is the guide that's involved in the Egyptian embalming process. So I was really interested to find that out, like, that's who came through. And we share a higher purpose together. Go figure. Okay, so the universe surprises us with the different things going on. Good morning, Teresa. And I hope that you caught the 7:30 a.m. on my personal Facebook page, because that channeling was very much directed at you, Teresa, and very much. You were in the space the whole time. So you might want to check it out, either on YouTube or on my personal Facebook page, because I record them and put them up on my YouTube page, a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to look at what we got going on here in on the Facebook page, and see if anybody is written in any comments and such like. Because that's what we're here for. Okay. Good morning, Teresa. You did catch that. That's great. Wonderful. One of the things that is up right now, of course, is approaching the holidays with the least amount of stress and disorder and difficulty. You know, it's like we're here, we're in this together, and it's any way that we can bring ourselves back into that deepest quiet place inside us and be in our lives from that. That's what we want to do. That's where we want to come from. You know, the holidays are supposed to be a time of connection, and whether you're connecting with friends and family or yourself or your soul or the divine or the quietness that you can find inside, it doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. So as I wait for you to post questions, I'm going to do a little bit of reading here from my book, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness. This is my copy that I underline and correct and, you know, play with and comment and edit and like that. But the whole point of developing soul consciousness is to create a closer relationship with your soul and with the divine. You know, that's what we're hungry for, that feeling of emptiness and loss inside of us. That's really about being hungry for our soul. And that's what my book is about. And getting to know your soul is where the rubber meets the road. It's really quite lovely. And the more you can feel your soul, the more you can energize yourself with your soul's energy, the more you can connect with the divine. In my world, anyway. Hi, Pat Hansen. Good morning. Good morning. My goodness, I feel so lucky that you guys are here with me. So I think I opened the Akashic Records for this group, and we'll get this show rolling and while people write their questions in the comments on the Facebook page. All right. By the power of divine light within us, come, Holy Spirit, Spirit of light, Spirit of truth. For the highest good of all throughout time, fill our hearts with divine love as we humbly ask permission to open the divine portal to the highest realm of the Akashic Records for those present. Akashic beings of light guide those present to the deepest truth of our being, releasing any blocks and restrictions to our abundance and highest good. Great Creatress, assist us to fully embody our soul's light, to fulfill our soul's purposes, and to heal any accumulated karma. Surround us with the enlightenment and wisdom of our masters, teachers, and loved ones. Clearly direct our perspective and actions to those that manifest our divine plan. Akashic beings of light, guide those present to the deepest truth of our being, releasing any blocks and restrictions to our abundance and highest good. Great Creatress, assist those present to fully embody our soul's light, to fulfill our soul's purposes, and to heal any accumulated karma. Surround us with the enlightenment and wisdom of our own masters, teachers, and loved ones. Clearly direct those present perspective and actions to those that manifest our divine plans. Akashic beings of light guide those present to the deepest truth of our being, releasing any blocks and resistance and restrictions to our abundance and highest good. Great Creatress, assist those present to fully embody our soul's light, to fulfill our soul's purposes, and to heal any accumulated karma. Surround those present with the enlightenment and wisdom of our masters, teachers, and loved ones. Clearly direct those presents' perspective and actions to those that manifest our divine plans, free of all resistance, judgment, and fear. We are now filled with divine love, and the records are now open. There's a lot of really good energy around today. Really good. All right, Pat Hansen is going to get us off to a start. What is the best way to help people who fear what's next in these unsettled times? I love how you put that. That was very delicate and tactful. Thank you, Pat. What is the best way for to help the people who fear what's next in these unsettled times? Well, first off, stay in the present moment. Fear is, always about the future. It's always about what's not happening right now, what could be headed towards me that I do not want to have, and how can I sidestep it? And that's the perfect question for a psychic. It's like, oh, what's my boyfriend thinking, and what's headed my way that I don't want to have. And so come back to the present, come back to the light that is within you, the divine light within you. You know, this Akashic Records prayer holds a lot of energy and juice. And the first line, by the power of divine light within me, that is a good reminder to come right back into the present moment and to be where you are. And then you can launch yourself into, you know, listing 3, 4, 5 things that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the food that I have. I'm grateful for the love that I receive from friends, family, the divine, from my soul, from others, whatever it is. I'm grateful for the love that I give. I'm grateful for the gas in my car or the food in my refrigerator. I'm grateful I have shoes, you know, whatever it is. Find some things to be grateful. The smaller, the better. The more insignificant, the more present time that gratitude is in. And so my acronym for fear is future events already ruined. Or feeling excited and ready. You know, there, you know, the incoming administration, which I think is what you're really discussing, is you know, how the possibilities of our democracy might be changed, obliterated, warped, lost, such and so forth, may be threatening. And that is also a misunderstanding of where the power is. The power is in the divine. The divine has all power. There are not two powers. There is only the power of the divine. And when we rest in that, we realize that is larger than the United States political system, our personal lives, the wars and starvation and the climate change that may be going on around the planet. The power of the divine is what we are looking to rejoin, to take into ourselves, to become one with. And that just obliterates any kind of fear or desire to control the outcomes in a way that my personality might have decided it should be. You know, I can let go of all of that and settle in to the power of the divine as the only power. It's so comforting. And if more reading is desired along those lines, I would read Joel Goldsmith. His work has transformed my understanding of the divine and my relationship to Jesus the Christ, or the power of Jesus the Christ, all of that. I'm also going to read what Teresa has to say here with the application of some reading glasses. Lately, maybe due to pain, I have been less tolerant of those who are inconsiderate of others and seemingly pretending to be something other than who and where they are, just self-serving and selfish. I'm not usually in the practice of judging others, nor does awareness of others out of sync or low vibration energy have any influence on me. Well, I would say, yeah, in some ways you're correct in that it's the pain that's making you a little more prickly and less patient, or moving to a sense of being more tolerant, or you know, expand to include consciousness. And but in one way, it's also realizing what they're using interesting words. So I'm asking for expansion on this message. The guides are saying what sets you apart is your recognition of self-centered behavior and the limiting consciousness that evokes, and how that is so childish and self-serving and power seeking. And it's, oh gosh, I feel you being nauseous. Yes, exactly. It just really, it's upsetting. It's revolting. Your body, is repelled by it. It is making me nauseous. It's like you want to throw up that energy and get that out of your body. Well, so your job, especially in kind of a interesting, somewhat diminished or amplified capacity, because the pain has been amplified. It's sort of like making things more brittle, and it's also allowing you to recognize really where humanity's small-mindedness gets us in trouble. And when you're there, I can feel you opening up to bringing the divine into that center inside your body that allows you to be with the divine and see as the divine sees and love as the divine loves, and to know that which is eternally true and helpful. And to leave the land of judgment. Now, also allow yourself to have discernment. It is different than judgment. And like, I see you being a little rough on yourself, thinking you're judging others, but it's also discernment. It's like, that's not the playground you want to play in. That's not the playmates that you want to have in your life. And so you're bringing yourself back into the attraction and magnetism that you have for people who are more interested in your set of values and vision of the nature of reality, and knowingness that this temporary bodily physical experience is not the be-all and end-all of reality. And I'm in no way saying that your pain is illusory, because it doesn't feel like that at all. It really doesn't. Good morning, Suzanne Owen. How nice to see you too. So Teresa, just allow yourself to be. Sometimes the energy of mental mind chatter, mental dialogue, that inner dialogue, that's sort of a nonstop diatribe about evaluation of things that are going on. It's going on, and it's just a matter of acceptance and not fighting. Don't resist it, because you'll never win. You'll never win. Gotta like give it a little love. Like, yes, dear, I hear you, mind. You're judging others, or you decided that that's not the way to be, and that others should kind of catch on with you. Okay, that's nice, but it doesn't always work that way. So, let's see, I'm going to check in here with Suzanne Owen. Are you going to do any more? Oh, thank you, Teresa. She says I'm right on point with that. Okay, wait a minute, Suzanne. It's a comment. Went away, come back here. How do I see all these comments? I don't know. Suzanne wanted to get rid of it. You wanted to know if you're doing any more live classes. Yes, in January. And I am so excited about this. And I swear the meditation this morning, channeled by the great creatress, was literally a preparatory meditation for the upcoming class called Living as Your Soul Writing Workshop. It's a 7-week class, Tuesday evenings from 5 to 6:30, and we're going to be working out of my book on chapter 15, Living as Your Soul. And it's going to teach you how to be on or be more connected to your soul, have a deeper relationship with your soul, to understand how your soul functions. And we're going to do it in the Akashic Records and expand that relationship you have with your soul, which is also the innate connection with the divine. So that is a lot of what the class is going to be about. In chapter 15, Living as Your Soul, in my book, there are 23 questions that go over what is it like to live as your soul? If I were living as my soul, how would it be different than living as my personality and my body? So some of the questions that we're going to be working with, and I know there's going to be a few more because the guides are always really inventive about this stuff. How does your soul prioritize states of being? Living as your soul, what do you envision your life to be like? Like, let's kind of look through the soul's eyes and see what life would be like if we were living as our soul. How does your soul prioritize activities? How does your soul create and manifest? And I forget, which chapter it's in, but there is a great manifestation exercise in this book where it's a manifestation as your soul manifests. It's probably in the back of the book because all the processes and all the prayers and all the invocations are in the back of the book in a group together. So just to make the book more handy. But how would you, living as your soul, create and manifest? How does your soul demonstrate unity with the great creatress or the divine? Like this. Isn't that where the rubber meets the road? Like, this is what we really want to know, right? How do I live as my soul? How do I live bonded to and merged with and at one with the divine and my soul? How do I get my soul's purposes manifested? How do I get the job done, really? Because many of us are here to get the job done, right? And knowing what the job is and how to do it is really important. It's not a dumb question. It's a very relevant question. Suzanne says, I have a question. Thinking of where I am going to relocate to currently to follow through with a plan to save money and create a life I want, truly. All right. So so you're asking me to think out loud for you. But it's not really a question. Okay. So the issue is, how do you manifest enough money to support yourself and be where you are and do what you're supposed to be doing? That's my sense of what the real question is. And if that rings true for you, I get it. I totally get it. So this is a conversation between you, your soul, and the divine, and your understanding of money. Like, okay, here in the United States, we have two or three gods. One of the first gods is money, right? This is a capitalist system, and there's something like amoral or if you can't support yourself effectively, you must be a substandard human. So there's a whole lot of judgment in there. Teresa, no, it's chapter 15 is this living as your soul. If you're asking that, if that's the question. But so, and how do you, as a personality, Suzanne, unify with your soul and the divine and attract enough money and resources to sustain yourself effectively and not be over dependent on other humans, and even over dependence on, say, an employer or a family member, or if I just get married, the guy will support me. It's an easy trap. Our culture has set us up to think that we need to get married and to somebody who will support us as women. And I think that there's a a big maturing process that happens with you, Suzanne, around bringing in enough money to support yourself and being self-sustaining and self-sufficient. And I would love to see you do that effectively. So the other gods that we have are the politics and our leaders, and we overinvest in their power, which is the same question that Pat Hansen was asking him, what do we do with the fear about how the future is going to turn out? Well, we love that fear, and our personalities are designed to generate fear and to notice fear and to focus on fear because it might mean saving our lives and our physical health. And so, and the other God is our bodies and our physical presence. And here in the United States, our culture tells us we are supposed to be able to on our own, without help from anybody else, go out and buy a chunk of, get a chunk of land, homestead a chunk of land, fell the trees that are in the way of the fields, clear out the fields of rocks and stumps, peel the bark off the logs, build our own little houses, grow our own vegetables, and all in one season. Like, we should be self-sufficient, like in one growing season. It's, the other plan, the alternative point of view, is that we are interdependent. And we are so much part of this web of life, and inserting ourselves and allowing ourselves to be in this web of life. Can you feel this? I mean, I'm getting chills all over the left side of my body and down, all the way down my back and legs and feet, that we are interdependent. We are linked to one another. And that's why we have trade. We exchange, in your case, Suzanne, it might be candles for apples, or essential oils for toilet paper, whatever is needed, the most basic things. I think there's a little resistance, Suzanne, on your part to have math control things. Like, there really is a budgeting process. What are your costs? Where's your money going? Are there places where you're being frivolous? Oh God, that sounds so judgmental. I'm really sorry. Okay. What if you were, Suzanne, to behave in a very integrous way with money that allowed you to trust yourself and to keep your promises to yourself and to be awake and aware and immaculate about how you are with money? And it's one of those topics that can go into all areas of our lives, and allowing yourself to be in that web of life and on the receiving end of grace and prosperity from the divine who has all power, can sort your money problems or supply you with what's needed anytime, any place, and expect it to show up at the 11th hour. And just getting to a better place with that this month. Okay, great, good. And, if you were to allow yourself to be fully integrous about money, what's your life look like? Living as your soul, how would your soul handle money? How would your soul handle needs for resources? I mean, those are some juicy questions. Isn't it fun to get the questions? The questions are where the meat and potatoes are. Let's see. I just began to do that stuff. Do that with money. You got bringing that to my attention and spirit. Yeah, exactly. And it's not like there's something wrong with you for having this issue. It's like this is what you're using as a developmental tool. The soul is always providing areas for growth and situational settings that cause you to grow and to become more whole and more healed and more at one with yourself, your soul, and the divine. And so money is just another doorway. It could be swimming, it could be how you eat, it could be not drinking, it could be giving up smoking, whatever it is that you're giving your power away to, that is out of alignment with your soul and the divine and your relationship with divine. So let's see. Regarding the Living as Your Soul writing workshop, I put a whole blog post in right below this live and all the comments. It's the post right below this live, so you can investigate further on that. And I know some of you will find the price a little difficult, and I don't want that to stop you. So please approach me and make an offer, because I would really like to have folks who want this class in the class. And it's a stretch for me to have a class at all. And I want this to work for the whole group. Anyway, okay. So let's see. Stephanie, I see you there. I'm going to get to you in just a second. Suzanne says, having faith in the knowing that I will be taken care of, but being more aware of money and where I'm putting it. I'm learning to have better relationship with money than I used. I used to believe that it was totally evil, that money caused too many daily issues. Yeah. And the money has no power in and of itself. It's literally a symbol of an energy exchange. And somebody put it this way. They're like, money's like air. You can't breathe more than your share. Nobody can breathe more than their share. And there's literally an endless supply of this symbol of energy exchange between you and another person, or you and a grocer, or even like when I was upset with a grocery store for high prices, and I said so to the management, I realize now I was putting them in a superior place than I am in, giving them power to control my future and to raise prices, and that they were the cause of society's evils. I made that up. They're not. They're working in a capitalistic system. And and so are you. And I think, Suzanne, you have a very organic nature and you want to just sort of grow your own food and, you know, be of service, but be left alone to get the job done. And it's like bringing yourself from the 1800s, lives in the 1800s, up into the lives in the 2020s. It's a real step forward, and you're doing a good job. And you've had to overcome a lot of barriers and impediments in that way. And every time you move into more and more honoring of yourself and what works for you, more you regain your own power, reclaim it. Okay. Now, it took away Stephanie's question. Oh, you want to know what your team had, anything your team wanted to say today? They're saying that if there was some kind of disagreement, they're calling it a scrap that you might have had with your husband at the end of the trip, um, to not invest too much energy in that. It was a moment. It was time. It was, traveling can be challenging, and everybody's a little pushed to be as adaptable as they can be and be as flexible as they can be. And it just was just a moment in time. I just like forgive and release, forgive and release. It's not a sign of a crack in the relationship or disunity in the relationship. Yes, you and your husband see things differently, but that's one of the things that you like about him, is he sees things differently than you do. And in essence, you really would like to honor that. And I think it was a product of being fatigued and like in a way, overstimulated, um, like that. So let's see, is there anything else from your team for Stephanie? They're talking about feeling bloated. Take some extra probiotics for the next 3 days, like 3 probiotics at every meal. And that'll help diminish the feeling of bloat. Your digestive system got a little off. You had some different elements in your diet during the trip, and you're just passing that through. You're restoring and regenerating the normal uh, biological environment inside your digestive system. So not to worry, it's not a fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just your body's adapting to all the changes. So let's see. Teresa says, to get more money as your outcome, regardless of how it may hurt the others or the planet itself, as opposed to putting people in the earth as a priority before the money, is how I separate people and their priorities, including myself. If you let go of the need to let go of any need for money, all your needs will be met. I've definitely proven that one. Laugh out loud. The more you prioritize other souls, the more you are. Facebook has a wacky way of doing these things. So I get that. And what Teresa is talking about is her recent trip to Hawaii, and the plan was to stay with a friend. That blew up like right away. And then she had to meet a bunch of strangers and kind of band up with them and have her needs met in really unorthodox ways. And her her sense of self and belongingness challenged. And I think also probably her physical body was really could have been stress a little bit, and some of the pain could be backlash from that. But and oh yeah, your body is objecting to being thrown back into kind of a more rigid structure, and whereas you're really in a fluid energetic sense, in a fluid mind state and heart state while you were traveling, and to be thrown back into the ordinary reality and your well-worn paths is a little like, ah, what happened to all the freedom and fun? Okay, so Suzanne says, I think my problem has been more of putting souls and energy, family and spirit before money, and not paying attention to all of it, hoping my faith would pull me through it. It did. However, I'm not anywhere near where I could be due to thinking I could do it all without the money being an issue. It's a very complicated set of statements. I think you're on the right track, Suzanne, for realizing that you kind of have to, you can't let money be not an issue if it is. Stephanie, welcome back. I'm glad you're home to be home. Um, let's see. Okay. So yeah, and Teresa says, I didn't get more pain in Hawaii. I just had strengthening of my faith and knowing that that my needs would be provided for, and I didn't have to be. That's so good. And that is so freeing, Teresa. It's so freeing. And money's just a symbol of exchange, and it's not necessarily the requirement. I've been able to, in my leaner times when I was more disabled with MS and all that, I wasn't like shopping for clothes a whole lot. And things came to me, people gave to me, people showed up, oh, would you like this? And be like, oh, that's perfect. Things, it just, it, I let go of thinking I had to do everything by the sweat of my brow. And that's a very lonesome, laborious way to go about creating fulfillment and abundance. By the sweat of our brow is not the only way that we create from. We can create from alignment with the divine. We can create from raw energy. And there's times when I open my records and I just go way out in consciousness and surf the starry skies, and I go to where the Akashic records are, and the Akashic field is, and literally take bites of unformatted energy, raw energy, and eat them. Take bites and take that in, because everything starts as energy. Everything ends as energy. Energy is what's constantly changing and remodeling our realities and our experience of life. So, just eating raw energy and or breathing in raw energy, whatever version works for you, that's kind of a great diet for abundance. Oh, Pat just had a nice comment. I missed it. Okay. Whew. Oh, there we go. The question, do souls that have recently passed over have the option to stay around for 3 to 30 days before moving on? They can stay around for as long as they want to, because there's no time in soul land. they can stay around for as long as necessary. There's a time in certain situations, souls that have recently passed, where they want to stay around to comfort those who are really bereaving in a very hard way or harsh way, or they're or they might have the land of the living. There's a guilt or anger or frustration, and or huge loss. And so the soul might stick around to try and communicate with them to soften the blow, to make that happen. But after a while, soul does have to go on and continue its path, its growth. It has to go through whatever. There can be several types of cleansing that the soul goes through on the route out of the physical and back into the land of the souls, and reuniting with its soul group and with its kind of the soul's masters, teachers, and loved ones, those beings that are guiding the soul and assisting the soul. And there might be the stages of cleansing might be more intense, like if there's a lot of war like trauma that the soul has experienced, it may need to go into like almost like an underwater bath of removal and cleansing and restoring back to the original divine design, to refresh the soul so it can take whatever steps are next for it in its growth path, and to perhaps choose another life with some different parameters. It's not so harsh. The idea that we have to grow through harshness is, it's an idea. We don't have to do that. It doesn't have to be through suffering and fear and, violence or loss or tragedy or, excruciating experiences. We don't have to grow that way. We can choose. We get to choose right now. So I'm just looking at I'm looking for Pat Hansen, who the souls are that are around you. Okay, there's one really strong soul that's I think it's Virginia Chapin Chef, that's hanging around you, and she's, she's feeding some real angelic energy to you just to keep your spirit buoyed. Yeah. And to let you know that she is still here for you. You can consult Virginia when you need to. You can ask her to be with you in a meditation, and it may be just a being with, it may not be a lot of words or images. It might just be a companionship thing. But her wonderful angelic energy is what struck me in my experience of Virginia Chapin Chef. But and she died a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. So, she said, yeah, it is nice. Just open your heart to receive, like use your spiritual heart, really. Yeah, there you go. Oh, look at her right into standing next to you. And it's as if you guys are holding each other's hands as they're standing right next to each other and facing each other. And so there's a real communion there that she's having with you. And I think it's freshening up your energy in a lovely way too. Not that there was anything wrong with your energy before. It's just something that seems helpful and divine and yummy. Let's see. We got a good conversation going on here. Who are the souls that are surrounding me? I feel like my mother is trying to speak to me. I feel her there. All right. Yes, Suzanne, your mother is there, and her messages to you is like, she taught you so much through the use of fault finding, whether it was in you or others. It was, it was a kind of an over correction. You know, if it's not working out, you should see, look inside yourself and see what needs to be done there and what you can correct, and you should just get better at it. It's a little perfectionistic, and yet she loved you, and she was trying to give you wisdom and strength, and it did give you a lot of introspective skills and that sort of thing. But now she feels like she could have done it in a much softer way. It would have been better for you if she had done it in a much softer way, because you're so gentle and loving. But it was also to give you a sense of substance. You could be, you're like me, you just as soon rattle around in the etheric planes of light and enjoy things and not get too serious about all this stuff. And and in one way you're absolutely correct, and in another way your mother needed to teach you how to live on the planet, in your body, in this life, and to stay in your body and with yourself, and not give your power away, or not um, fulfill others' needs before taking care of yourself. Wow. Cheryl Monk's with us. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to see you. He says, I love this. And he has my dad around me now. And does he have any messages, please? Okay, we're doing mediumship today. Yes. Now, your dad happens to be wearing a crown, so he really, at least as a soul, experiences himself as kingly and with uh, a kindness to his authority. And and the reason he's generating that image is to help you vibrate up to that image, that you can be queenly and in your power in your world with your son and your husband and work situations, and in your own wisdom and your own strength. And as you stand in that queenliness, and this might be for you as well, Suzanne, that there is a magneticness to you with that, and that is like the missing link to having faith that all the needs will be taken care of in the fullness of time. And now your father also has an apology for you. He's sorry he was so severe. Gosh, there was one time when he, I think, beat you. And it was a little not, it was not his normal behavior. And it was an expression of frustration and not understanding your nature, and your ability to move between earthly and etheric, or earthly and esoteric, earthly and angelic, and as similar as Suzanne is like, how do I be on this planet and be in the world but not of the world, where I don't let the worldly downfalls tarnish the spirit that is within me and that can be fulfilled in this lifetime and be merged successfully. And that again is standing in the queenliness of your soul. Yeah, and I can see Suzanne is putting that on. It's right. It doesn't stick just yet, Suzanne. It will. Practice it. Practice it. Practice embodying your soul's light, Suzanne, and that will help doing that. Cheryl, I think you do that quite well. Uh, that's great. Okay, you guys are doing great. Wow, thank you, Annie. I could hear her voice, meaning I think your mother, and fully feel and understand exactly what she was saying. I'm grateful for that. So true about her being on the planet instead of in the world. Um, so true about being on the planet instead of in the world, right? It's yeah, that's a good distinction. I like the way you put it, Suzanne, because being that small distinction of being in the world but not of the world can be a little bit shifty. Whereas being on the planet and not necessarily being in the world of the world, it's not, you're not made of the world. Your inner being, all of you, your inner being is your soul, it's your spirit, is your divine right to be in the lap of the divine, receiving all her blessings. Um, so this is good. I love this. When I started hearing about mediumship as like a category of like being a psychic, and a specialty and being able to speak for the dead or communicate dead's messages to people who are alive, I thought, well, I'd really like, maybe I need to go to a class for this. Well, in the Akashic Records, we are surrounded by our masters, teachers, and loved ones. Now, loved ones are people we've known in this life who are now dead, and they sometimes have things to say to us. Sometimes they're just being loving and on the sidelines and stuff like that. But it means that you can communicate with the dead through the Akashic Records and through opening your Akashic Records and having a relationship with all those beings in your Akashic Records, your masters, your teachers, your loved ones, the Akashic beings of light, the great creatress, your soul. Like, it's a big party, and you can have access to all of that and have benefit from having access to all of that. Let's see. Cheryl says, my dad was good to me. He spanked me with anger at one time, and he may have regretted it. I can see that. Yeah, it's like he wouldn't communicate that to you unless it was a point of severe guilt that he had. And he felt like he had let his uh, guard down and he was out of control. Let's see. Cheryl says, should I pursue learning, channeling, or mediumship? Sure, you bet. I listen, it's been a lifestyle for me, and it's been such an asset. Learning how to channel for me has been a guaranteed dunk into divine love, to being with people, the beings that love me unconditionally as I am and who are here to help me grow without judgment, without punitiveness. There's, all of that. And I love being able to channel, and I really wouldn't trade it for anything. And, I started with the book by Sanea Roman and Dwayne Packer called Opening to Channel. And I know you can get it. You should probably look into used bookstores because it's not a recent book. And both of those beautiful beings were my teachers. From the early 80s on until they died recently. Both of those beings, Sanea Roman and Dwayne Packer, and just wonderful, wonderful beings. Let's see here. I've got to pull out their pictures. That's Sanea Roman and Dwayne Packer right there. And they taught me opening the channel, awakening your light body, loving your body, all kinds of things. And so they're book is really that it contains the energy of connection to your guide. And it's really simple instructions. It's really positive. It's a great place to start. Perhaps later on in the spring, after I do the writing class, I will teach another class on channeling, like another channeling 101 class. And that would be beneficial, I think, to other people. And I wouldn't mind it. I'm hoping to get some of these kind of classes into like an on-demand video format that you could just learn as you go. Several episodes and where you learn as you go, and it would be pre-recorded, but it'd be less expensive for you guys. And I'm all for saving money. Let's see. I think we have come to the end, and I have to close the records because we opened the records for this group when we started. And so close your eyes and follow these words. Thanking the great creatress for her. Uh-oh, forgot. I got a little distracted. Thanking the great creatress for love, protection, and healing received this day. Thanking the Akashic beings of light for guidance, and thanking the masters, teachers, and loved ones for wisdom and direction. The divine portal and the Akashic records are now closed. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Oh, Pat, you are so welcome. Thanks for being an open heart and an open mind and someone for me to contribute to and for buoying my spirit. All of you, you really helped me a lot. Really, really helped me a lot. Thank you. All right. I will talk to you later. I may do a special thing on Monday before Christmas because Christmas is on Wednesday and I usually do the lives on Wednesday. So I'll probably try and pick something live in on Monday before the holidays, Monday the 23rd. All right. I love you all. Thank you. May your day be fabulous.